having so many cases of gender-based violence, and more so it has been witnessed during these times of COVID. Thank you.
When you talk about drugs and peer pressure, I mean, these are some of the things that from where I'm sitting, of course, I don't have much information about that, but I'm thinking something like peer pressure or drugs or families that are not so much upright. I see that these are some of the effects of gender-based violence, or are they causes? How are they contributing factors to gender-based violence? If you don't mind expounding on that.
Well, I've talked about the issue of contributing factors to gender-based violence, the issue of poverty. The families, maybe they don't have a source of income. Maybe they have gone out of, we've had cases where people have gone without food, and in the process they have been coerced and they are given something to eat, and in the process they have been violated. The issue of maybe like the cases of girls where we have had, maybe they lacked sanitary pads, and in the process they were promised for a pad and then they were violated. So when we talk about the contributory factors, we are talking about the issues of ignorance. They may not have the knowledge, alcohol, the issues of culture. Maybe it is being done, but you are not supposed to say. Such things are the contributory factors to gender-based violence.
Interesting. Thank you so much for that. According to Human Rights Watch, Madam Rosa Ruguru, is that a number of people, a number of such cases go unreported. And you've seen a number of contributing factors as pointed out by Mr. Resio: poverty, peer pressure, drugs, sanitary towels, ignorance, soft culture, socialization, among many more that has been mentioned. 14% at least of cases go unreported. Why do you think this is the case?
Thank you very much. Contributing factor is because our community, as Madam Teresia has already said, they are ignorant. They don't know when to report. Sometimes they're not even aware where to report. The other issue is about stigmatization. When they go to report these matters, they are in fear of being stigmatized. And sometimes you've seen even in some cultures, people believe in settling the matter outside the court, settling the matters outside the police stations. And we have these elders who go and discuss a matter outside the setup of the courts. At the same time, the ignorance of not being able to know when to report and being able to know that it is free to report. Even to be attended in a hospital, it's supposed to be completely free.
That's for as far as gender violence related to gender is concerned, yeah?
Yes.
You've said about local arrangement, local tribunal. You've spoken about ignorance. You've spoken about some people do not know where to report. And it just got me thinking, maybe we might be thinking that we are on the same page with our viewers for as far as gender-based violence is concerned. Would you mind maybe just expounding so that we are all on the same page? Some people, some cultures believe that when a woman is battered in the house, that's a show of love. That's an expression of love. It's an expression of her womanhood. So to some extent, she doesn't feel anything is wrong with that. Right? If anything, they encourage that. A funny story someone once told us is that a lady who went to report to a sheikh in a particular country, a lady went to report to a sheikh that, you know what, sheikh, my husband doesn't love me at all. Like, why? Say he has never laid a finger on me, so he doesn't love me at all. You know, at the same time, we're looking at on the flip side, some people are being battered to their death. Yeah, so this is a completely different situation. So for as far as gender-based violence are concerned in this context, Madam Rosa Ruguru, would you mind expounding on that, what exactly it means and what exactly are we looking at?
Oh, thank you very much. We have different myths in our community. There are people who believe if they are not battered, they are not loved.
Yeah.
And in some other cultures, people believe showing masculinity is by oppressing the feminine gender. Those ones are myths. And unless we educate our community and show them, empower the female gender, we will not be able to come out of this gender-based violence.
Okay.
With this COVID-19, we've had cases whereby they have been on lies. Alone in September, we had 810 cases reported in the call center for gender-based violence. So this means we will come out of them because of, by having disseminated the information to our community and to all cultures, to be able to reach all zones. so as to come out of it. We have a gender hotline number that people can call comfortably and report these matters.
So thanks so much for your exponential and comprehensive interpretation of gender-based violence in that. You mentioned something in your previous answer when you spoke about some people do not know when to report such cases. So you've spoken about gender-based violence, what it entails. So at what time can someone report, or should someone report such a case?
As a forensic expert, I would say the earlier you report, the better, because it entails so many things when you go to report. There is collection of evidence, and also there is medical intervention, whereby you'll be able to be given, to be accorded the necessary support. You'll be able to be given something like prophylaxis not to get HIV, if there is sexual violence. If there is physical abuse, you'll be able to get impromptu health. You'll be given medication. Because you've seen whereby a woman has gone to an extent of being murdered, sometimes getting multiple injuries like fractures. So getting help on time, it's quite golden. The earliest you report, the better.
As soon as it happens?
As soon as it happens.
Or when it happens?
Or when it happens.
Witness protection, is it guaranteed? For example, someone in the neighborhood is witnessing the neighbor being battered. And this I'm going to talk to Deputy Director of Public Health, Madam Teresia Njoroge. Someone who is witnessing such a scenario, such a case in the neighborhood, maybe a husband battering the wife almost every other night. If he goes ahead and reports such a case, is witness protection guaranteed?
Thank you so much. If at all somebody maybe in the neighborhood witnessed something happening, maybe to be it the woman, or maybe it is happening to the children, and then they report, it is guaranteed, because we have had cases where maybe they were reported by somebody else, but we were able to protect them, and we were able to follow, and we were able to assist. So it is really guaranteed. So if at all such a case is happening in the neighborhood or in the community, and maybe the person where it is happening, they are not able to report, we are requesting our community that they can be able to report on behalf of those people, and we are guaranteeing that this, the evidence will be confidential, and nobody will know whether that it was reported.
No, thank you. Madam Teresia, still on you. There is a fair share level of some toxic masculinity, so to speak, for lack of a better word, in the community. That when people are talking about this gender-based violence, we are limiting it to the feminine gender, that these are the only people going through this. But again, at the same time, we're having men who are going through such problems, and they are not willing, so to speak, to come out and speak about this. Maybe just what would be your word to such men outside there?
What I can say to those men maybe who are going such thing, it is good to report. Sometimes because of, you know, what will people say about me, people tend not to report. And when we talk about issues of gender-based violence, it is also happening to our men, even to our boys. But you realize majority of the focus, it is on the women, and maybe awareness has been created to women. So men sometimes they fear reporting. So I would urge our community, if at all it is happening to you, it is good that you report. Don't fear what people are going to say, because you can really suffer, and in the near some end up in depression. We are encouraging our men that it is good to report, and we are going to assist them, and we've been assisting them. And especially now during these 16 days of activism, we've been able to create awareness in the community, and we've been able to learn a lot from the people. So I'm requesting that they should be able to report, and also we should target our men as we talk about issues of gender. It is not only for women, it is for all of us.
No, thanks so much. Madam Rosoroguru, you spoke about reporting this case early enough. It's good that Madam Teresia mentioned about the 16 days of activism. Of course, that's going to take a good part of our conversation once we come back after the break. But before we go on this very short break, I'd like, Madam Ross, you had started to mention about the hotline numbers and where someone could report such cases. Would you mind taking us through? How does someone go about it?
We have hotline number, that is 1195. We have people who receive this call throughout the clock, and you just need to call and say where you are and what you're going through, and this line is in use throughout, and you'll be assisted. We have community health workers, and also these community health workers work together with the police and also with the judiciary. We have that working condition. Yes.
This is irrespective of your location in this country?
Yes, irrespective of our location in this country.
Okay. Just a quick one again before we go on a very short break. How many people have you managed to serve? Or rather, how many people, what's the frequency? How frequent do people call this number to seek for help?
Like I've said earlier, in September we have data that 810 people called this line. In August, there was 635 numbers that called, people who called this number. So from September to August, there was a rise of 25% of people who called this number.
That's
so
within September to August?
Yes.
I'm trying to look at those figures. There are figures that were shared by World Health Organizations recently, sometimes around June. I'm trying to look for them somewhere here, about the increase of gender-based violence and divorce cases since Corona started. Of course, this and much more we are going to discuss after the break. Not forgetting the cultural contributions, policy making. What are the policies that are appearing to be quote-unquote spearheading or fueling such heinous acts within the community? This and much more after the break. It's 33 minutes past 7 o'clock. So please do not go away because we are just getting started.
قال تعالى في محكم تنزيله بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم
ninasaha kutoka pwani.
هذا الدين قال الله قال الرسول قال الصحابة هم أولو العرفان انتهى.
Ili kuongoza kwenye njia iliyonyoka.
Sikizeni hadithi hii ya Mtume alayhi salatu wasalam.
Hakuna atakayeweza kumfungia mtu mlango ambaye Mwenyezi Mungu aliyemfungulia.
Kuimarisha imani yako.
ثبت قلوبنا على دينك وعلى طاعتك.
Ungana na mashekh wetu kutoka pwani kwenye mimbar.
Mimbar zinamwakilisha Mtume sallallahu alayhi wasallam.
Ni Jumamosi na wakati saa 3 usiku katika Horizon TV, runinga uipendayo.
Verse of the day.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. هو الذي خلق لكم ما في الأرض جميعا ثم استوى إلى السماء فسواهن 7 سماوات وهو بكل شيء عليم.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
قال تعالى في محكم تنزيله بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Ni nasaha kutoka pwani.
هذا الدين قال الله قال الرسول قال الصحابة هم أولو العرفان. انتهى.
Ile kuongoza kwenye njia iliyonyoka.
Sikizeni hadithi hii ya Mtume alayhi salatu wassalam.
Hakuna atakayeweza kumfungia mtu mlango ambaye Mwenyezi Mungu aliyemfungulia.
Kuimarisha imani yako.
ثبت قلوبنا على دينك وعلى طاعتك.
Ungana na mashekh wetu kutoka pwani kwenye mimbar.
Mimbar zinamwakilisha Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Ni Jumamosi na wakati saa 3 usiku katika Horizon TV, runinga uipendayo.
Verse of the day.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. هو الذي خلق لكم ما في الأرض جميعا ثم استوى إلى السماء فسواهن 7 سماوات وهو بكل شيء عليم.
Thank you so much, Hassan Idris, right there. Welcome back to Live Real Talk right here from Horizon TV, Kenya's capital. I'm talking about the Nairobi Metropolitan. We are talking about gender-based violence, and we are on day 10 of 16 days of activism against the sexual and gender-based violence. And we spoke about some of the contributing factors that are leading to this. We spoke of poverty. Madam Teresi, of course, enlightened us on poverty, drugs, peer pressure, sanitary towels, which ladies need at some point. So some hooligans take advantage of that and harass the ladies, take them in, and later on abuse them physically. Of course, talk of ignorance, talk of socialization, how people have been socialized. We've spoken about the hotline number, and if I'm not wrong, Madam Ross, you say it's 1195? That's the hotline number? Yeah, that's the hotline number. We've spoken about the stats as well. We've spoken about the stats as well, the number of people who have been calling this number and the increment. Now, we want to talk about some of these cultural contributions that may be leading to this gender-based violence. I'm going to start with you, Madam Rose, because you briefly mentioned it in one of your answers previously when you were talking about the local tribunal, the local setup. Some people call it masala or maslah or whatever it is, yeah? Whereby when such a thing happened, it's considered to be a taboo for it to be announced. It's considered an embarrassment for the whole community and the whole village at large. So people tend to settle it in a more easier manner. So Madam Ross, would you mind maybe expounding on this particular one, local tribunal, local setup, and any other cultural activity that might be contributing to this gender-based violence?
Thank you very much. We have set up in our communities that believe a man is masculine when he exercises his authority. And when this exercise of authority is done, you've gotten that some community that believe should not be exposed. It is believed to be something that belongs to the clan and should be settled inside the clan. So when this person goes and talks it outside there, they are violating the laws of the clan. Some people also believe, like, as Madam Tresia had said earlier about poverty, I've had a scenario whereby a woman comes to report late when there is complication in a minor after sexual violence. They come because either there is a disease process already that has taken toll, there is urine incontinence or stool incontinence, whereby they have gone and agreed with the person, the perpetrator, on settlement outside the court. So the matter ended up being late to be reported in the facility, in the hospitals. Also ended up late being reported to police station, because either they have been given something in favor or exchange to their silence. So by the time they're coming to our, turning up to us, it's quite late. An intervention that you can give to this person or this minor is very little. We also have the myths that the community, that one should not expose the other person. That's why we have been working very closely with the judiciary, the DPP, the Ministry of Health, and also the police, so as to be able to work as a community. When the matter arrives to a hospital first, the hospital should involve the police. We were not going to force the victim or the survivors to report, but we initiate so as they be able to make the decision by themselves. But when we realize a minor is in danger, that's when we really have to call in the children's officer. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much for that. Madam Teresia, few things. Patricky, one of our viewers by the name Bilkis, who is quite passionate about this topic, says patriarchy is dominant in African societies. We as females are ideally groomed to be submissive to whatever men say. So how do you balance, first, what's your intake in that?
Thank you so much. I believe we should not, I don't want to say that I disagree, but everybody has their right, and it is good to express themselves despite our cultures maybe where we are supposed to be submissive. It is good also to question some of these decisions, not saying yes, yes, yes. Yes, that is my take on the same.
Okay, so where do you strike the balance? Where do you know when to say yes, and where do you where to actually challenge that decision? And if you're challenging that decision, then to what extent? How are you challenging that decision, for example, or any other, maybe if you have a different opinion or something?
I think the best thing it is to weigh the situation. You agree. You have to agree what are the pros and cons of this decision. What am I supposed to do? And this can only happen if at all we have an empowered society where both people are able to express themselves. So when people are empowered, they're able to make informed decision and also not hurting the other person. So it doesn't mean that if at all I have to disagree with what is being said, but we really need to agree together and come up with a common ground with both of us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. Madam Rose, Bilkis goes on and says, actually agrees to what you had actually said earlier on, says that speaking of things behind closed curtains or not speaking about them at all, the notion of those topics for married people, it hinders exposure, so to speak. So this is an amazing contribution to that. But the question is to you, Madam Rose, have you provided enough spaces where people could come and be open and have such discussions without prejudice or stigmatization or judgment for that matter?
Thank you very much. Rachel, we've been working in all counties. Like we've gone in several counties the last 4 weeks. We've touched Northeastern, we've touched the Western, we've touched Central, we also touched the Eastern Province. So as to be able to empower both genders on coming out and openly talking about it. That's why we have gender desks in our police stations, and also we have signage in our facilities showing where gender-based violence is supposed to be reported. We also have posters all of our facilities showing how to come out and also talk about it.
Well, thank you, Madam Rose, for that. Now, the next question now, or the next thing that I want us to talk about is in terms of policy and structures that have been set by the authorities to address this issue. And I'm going to start with you, Madam Teresia. You're the Deputy Director of Public Health at the Kimbo County. Sorry, not to put you to task per se 100%, but in your opinion, as an expert in this, do you think the government has done enough to address the gender-based violence?
Thank you so much. Before I respond to that, I wanted to say, as we talk about also the contributory factors, we are also talking about the issues of early marriages and also the issues of harmful gender practices like the female genital mutilation. And as we talk about the issues of policy, I can say the government has done much because we have policies that guide the same. When we are talking about issues of female genital, that is the FGM, we see they have been developed where if at all somebody is found to be conducting these activities, they can be prosecuted. And we had cases where it was happening and these people were able to be brought on board and prosecuted. As we talk also of the issues of early marriages, we've seen where our girls, if they give birth, they are able to be integrated back to school. So I can say through those government policies, we have those policies. And the other day during the 28th May, we were able to see the government run the menstrual hygiene policy and strategy, which addresses some of these issues that we are talking about. We have the National School Health Policy. It has the issues of gender and what is supposed to happen at the school level, the policy that was revised back in 2018. And also, because we are talking about addressing these issues at the community level, the community health policy that was launched the other day, it is addressing the issues of gender-based violence where the community members, they are supposed to report, and that is where my Waruguru said about the issues of the community health volunteers. It is anchored there, where if at all they are able to identify, they are able to refer the cases to the hospital, and they also report to the relevant authority. So I can say the government has done as much as policies are concerned.
Well, thank you so much. And in furtherance to the government addressing this issue, Madam Rose Waruguru, from a clinician perspective and an expert perspective, do we have enough facilities in the country set up by the government or the private sector to address this issue? For example, assuming poverty might be one of the cases, as you are listed on that, poverty might be one of the contributing factors to this gender-based violence. So if you're removing this person, this victim, from this abusive marriage or abusive relationship, then do we have enough spaces to cater for these people?
Thank you very much. As we talked earlier about rescue centers, we have rescue centers all over the country. And these rescue centers are accessible and they give free service to the survivors. In every sub-county or in every health facility you enter to, whether it is a level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, or level 6, you'll be referred. We have even special forms for referring these gender-based violence victims. And that form is written and you are referred to a place whereby you can be able to access help. Counseling will be done, treatment will be given for free, and also you'll be given support. You'll be helped to open up more, and also if you need to involve the police, you'll be assisted or asked to involve the police officers. Yes.
So we have enough facilities in the country for people to...
Yes.
Where are these facilities located? Or should I call just the hotline number and maybe I could be directed to the nearest facility?
Thank you. If you call the hotline number, they'll be able to direct you to the nearest facility where you'll be assisted. You just need to say the location you're in and they'll be able to refer you to the nearest facility from where you are. Yes.
Thank you. Madam Teresia Njoroge, before I give you a chance to give you a parting shot, I'm going to ask you this. Coming from a community perspective, I mean, being someone who has dealt with the community for as far as health is concerned, it's clear that the gender-based violence, this whole issue is quite stereotypical. The awareness is minimal. It's not as much compared to other situations or other cases. Talk of HIV, talk of rape cases, talk of these other cases basically. So what can be done for as far as awareness is concerned on this issue so that people could relate, so that people could be more open about it, people could come out and report such cases?
Thank you so much. What can be done to the community? We really need to create awareness because like we have seen also ignorance of not knowing, like my colleague has said, that the issues of maybe you don't know whether you are supposed to report, and if at all you report, what is supposed to happen. So we need to create awareness to the community, and as we create awareness, we should target all genders and all ages, because it is happening to all genders and all ages. So when we create awareness at the community level, we'll be able to fight this vice, and also having groups, support groups where maybe people can be able to meet together, they can be able to discuss their issues, and they can be, these will be eye-openers, and as such will be able to address the issues of gender-based violence. And like also you have said, maybe having policies that guides what happens at the community level.
What for as far as awareness is concerned, then awareness is concerned on this issue, then what should we, what role can we play as a commoner in the society, as a layman in the society? What role can I play and our viewer back at home for as far as this issue is concerned?
If awareness is created, as community members, we'll be able to take responsibility of each other's, because we are saying that our health is our responsibility. Because if I see it happening, like we have been told about the local courts, where maybe somebody gives money and that is the end, we'll be able to create awareness, because we know the dangers that are involved if at all these things are not reported and what can happen. So if at all awareness is created, all of us will be able to take responsibility and we'll make sure that these things doesn't happen. Because sometimes people are threatened, you are not supposed to say this, normally happens and they are not able to come out. But if at all awareness is created, if at all it happens to me, I'll be able to report and all the necessary steps taken, and now my health will be safeguarded. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Madam Rose, I'm going to ask you the same question about awareness creation. And as you're answering those questions, please touch on the threats that may come with it. Talk of someone being an outcast from the community. If he or she goes out and reports such cases, how do you help that person? Is it just counseling, or is it a thorough process in terms of education and taking care of that person, giving the basic necessities, him or her the basic necessities? And also, if you don't mind, integrate in your answer the rescue centers. Are they just for ladies or for both genders? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm grateful for this topic because we've really worked hard so as to integrate services. We've been working hard with the Ministry of Education, with the TSC, with the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Youth and Gender, so as to be able to harmonize and be able to give back something that the community can easily relate with. We've gone to a point of creating, as I said earlier, gender desks in police stations. Today we can say that we are not the way we work hapo kitambo. Things have really changed. You don't enter in a police station and you feel like you're in the wrong place. You enter in a police station, there is a children's officer, there is a gender desk, which can be easily be accessible by anybody. And it is not in the main area of a police station. In the hospitals, we have rescue centers, and also we have, if there is no rescue center, we have gender-based violence room, whereby you'll be able to get somebody who will be able to assist you. What I would want to tell our community is that they should come to us freely, without any fear. When it comes to reporting, the law will protect them. The government will protect them. These centers are for both genders. They are for both male and female. We've come to realize that men have been silent long enough. Gender-based violence has taken place in our homes day in, day out. And a man will not come out because he feels he will not be a real man if he talks about it. And he feels like he come to a facility, he will get a female gender who is already oppressing him at home. We have said they have lights when they come to our facilities. You can come and say that you want to be served by a male gender, and you'll be provided a male gender. In all facilities, we've provided for that, and it is in the open. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much. That was so powerful and so deep. Madam Teresi, I'm going to start with your parting shot tonight on this topic.
My parting shot on this topic, and especially maybe I would like to say to the men, reporting cases of gender-based violence is not a weakness, but it shows that you care for your health. So let us report in case it happens to us, and I know it is going to be sorted. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks so much. Precise, short, and straight to the point. Madam Rose Orogoro, your parting shot tonight.
My parting shot is that gender-based violence is a cycle. When it happens the first time, definitely to happen the second time and the third time, and it goes increasing. The first time will be softer, the second time will be harder, the third time will be the toughest. There is no way you'll be murdered the first day. The first day will be retro, then the person buys you a present or mix it up with you. The second time will be tougher. There will be no room for apology. The third time, it will be bad. So let us report, whether male or female, let us report. Get a person, open up, that person will help you to report the matter. You're free to come to a health facility, to a police station, to a chief's camp, you'll be able to get help. Thank you.
Wow, wow, thank you. And as we are taking our ticket to slumber tonight, let me start by this story. It's a sad one. Funny or maybe sad, depending on which lens you decide to look at it. So this is a story based on a true story. We had it from a sheikh, a religious leader, who in his neighborhood once they were seated and they had noises coming from one of the houses in their neighborhood, and they went only to find that their husband was seriously battering the wife. Seriously battering the wife. And when he went there trying to stop this man from doing that heinous act to the lady, the guy was fighting and even muscling the sheikh. And sheikh says, Sheikh, wewe aina gani? Wewe sheikh kitu gani? And we say, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mesema fadribuhunna. So as you were saying fadribuhunna, he was throwing another slap, another punch to the lady. And Sheikh left there so confused. Kind of funny from the way he was doing it at that time, so it kind of brought in some smile, but generally sad, because yes, it is a verse. Yes, it is there. But how do you interpret it? Is it boxing? Is it beating them up? Never. Islam would never advocate for battering people. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he is the best of creation. That is the Prophet, peace be upon him. If at all Islam was advocating for battering, don't you think out of all the wives he had, he would batter even one? Don't you think so? Don't you think he would have shown us the way? Some scholars say that when a wife mistreats you, when you feel like battering or punishing your wife, you take the siwak, toothbrush, right? That's almost similar size to this pen. Just like hit, like, hey, come on, relax, chill, chill. I'm your husband. It's a soft declaration, soft stamping of authority when you're there. Just that, in a loving way. And where does that come? At the tail end, right? First, you address. Second, you change the space. You migrate from the bed as a way of punishment. If he or she does not listen, then that's when you go to that extent, according to that. Some scholars say that you take a piece of cloth, wrap it, and you just like, hey, come on, relax, chill. It's a soft way of stamping authority. That's to the level that I know from interacting with scholars. So this is not the way to go about it. And when you witness such a thing, what are we taught by Islam? The Prophet, peace be upon him, say that whoever amongst you who witnesses evil, then he or she should stop it by the hand if he is able to. Exactly what this sheikh did is what is expected of us. You see such a thing happen, go there, use your hand, stop it from happening. Then the Prophet said, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ, for whosoever who will not be able to stop it using their hands, then فَبِاللِّسَانِ, then use your tongue to stop it. How do you do that? Just report. Call in your neighbors. Hey, 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 our neighbor is being battered. Can you go and help? Call the police. Call 1195, right? Call 1195. But hey guys, there's someone in my neighborhood that is being battered. And if you're going to do that at all, then hate it by your heart. Do not go and just stamp about it. Do not go and further spread that story that, hey, fulani bana, you are siku hizi hana amani na mume wake, kisha kwa ngoma kila usiku atulali huko, yupigwa kweli. You might be laughing at that particular person today, but who knows tomorrow who's going to be? You, your daughter, your son, your granddaughter, your grandson, who knows? So let's treat this issue with utmost seriousness that it deserves, because this is our society and it's our business and it's our duty to do what it takes to protect it to the best of our ability. Thank you so much, ladies, Madam Teresia Njoroge and Madam Rosoruguru, and thank you, our view, for keeping us company throughout this year, and thank you to all the people who made this show happen tonight, from Esa Golicha, Suleiman Nachas of Tumbo, Muhammad Atwe, Muhammad Sabubura, Nasser Hassan, Hassan Idris, Muhammad Gitonga, Salma Salim, and the list goes on and on and on and on. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I've been your host, Faisal Kassim. See you next week, same place, same time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Limerejea na sasa ni kubwa zaidi, ni bora zaidi na limezingatia usalama wako wa kiafya. Onyesho kubwa la kibiashara Afrika Mashariki limerejea tena Thika Road Mall TRM kwenye ukumbi wa Convention ghorofa ya 3. Karibu kwenye onyesho la 24 la Egypt and Middle East Expo kuanzia tarehe 25 mwezi Novemba hadi tarehe 8 mwezi Disemba mwaka 2020. Njoo ufurahie bidhaa maridadi kama vile furniture, mazulia, vyombo vya jikoni, bidhaa za ngozi, handcrafts, nguo, mikufu, marashi, manukato, dawa asilia na bidhaa nyinginezo kutoka Misri, India, Iran, Pakistan, Uturuki, Syria na Singapore. Usikose nafasi ya kutembelea onyesho la 24 la Egypt and Middle East Expo kuanzia tarehe 25 mwezi Novemba hadi tarehe 8 mwezi Disemba mwaka 2020 katika jumba la Thika Road Mall TRM ghorofa ya 3. Tutakuwa wazi kila siku saa 4 asubuhi hadi saa 2 usiku na kiingilio ni bure.
Uislamu ambao ni maarufu kwetu sisi ni Uislamu ambao ulioletwa na Bwana Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Ni risala alotuachia mtume wetu mtukufu yenye kutuongoza kwenye njia ya kumridhisha Muumba na kujenga imani zetu.
Na risala hii haikuletwa ila kwa mtume wa mwisho vile vile ambaye ni Mtume Muhammadin sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Ni mirathi ya mitume inayotupa mwelekeo kwenye dini ya Kiislamu. Ungana na Sheikh Saad Ahmed upate kufahamu ujumbe alotuachia mtume wetu sallallahu alayhi wasallam kila siku ya Alhamisi kwenye Horizon TV.
Kuna faida gani tupata tukimjua mtume sallallahu alayhi wasallam?
Nabii mwenye ushawishi mkubwa duniani.
Tukizikwa tukitiwa kaburini tutaulizwa haya maswali matatu: man rabbuk, ma dinuk, man nabiyuk.
Sheikh Jamaluddin anakupa simulizi.
Huwezi kumpenda mtu usiyemjua
na kutambua sunna zake,
lakini ukimjua na ukimtambua mtume Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam mapenzi yako yatazidi.
Ufahamu Rasulullah, familia na maswahaba wake. Tazama sira ya mtume kila Jumatatu saa 1 jioni kwenye Horizon TV.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
This Ramadan has been completely anomalous.
Wacha tukubaliane ya kwamba kwa mwaka huu hatutaweza kuwa tufanya mambo kikawaida.
We have never experienced such a Ramadan in history as far as the lockdown is concerned.
What a surprise.
Kama kuna Ramadhan ambayo inaweza pewa award ya kuisha haraka ni hii ya 2020.
And this is all because of the pandemic. I think we have an opportunity to go and ask for forgiveness.
It went so fast. Alafu ilikuwa a very unique Ramadan, and the same time pia ni Ramadan ambayo itakumbukwa na wengi.
I think this is by far my best Ramadan.
The same acts of worship but now in a different manner.
If you allow me to use 4 words, I think it's one of the best. Alhamdulillah.
Unajua Easter ni sherehe kubwa sana kwa Wakristo. Tunajua Ramadhan pia ni sherehe kubwa kwa Waislamu, lakini mwaka ukiwa vile ulivyo twasema wacha tutulie.
This Ramadan is like no any other.
Tazama ukumbi wa fiqhi kwenye Horizon TV. Halal, haram, sunna, wajib, makruh, mubah, ili upate kujua ahkam za ibada kwenye Horizon TV.
The unfolding truth.
Islamic literature, yes, they did not even agree with him, and that's why they tried to kill him.
They tried to kill him.
That aside, let's come back.
Not even tried, they finally did so.
You say they killed him?
Yes.
We will revisit that.
What do you really know about Islam? Is it Allah? Is it Jehovah? Or Yahweh?
All belong to one God.
Join us as we clear the misconceptions in religion on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Mtazamaji, licha ya kwamba ukeketaji umekuwa ukiangaziwa kwamba una madhara badala ya faida, bado kuna baadhi ya jamii zingali zinapeleka zoezi hili kuwa ni zoezi la fahari na vile vile likafanywa kwa njia ya siri, iwapo vile vile serikali ikawa ni yenye kupiga marufuku na vile vile ikawa ni hatia iwapo watakuwa ni wenye kukamatwa. Lakini iweje hadi wa leo swala hili bado linaangaziwa kwa upande wa kwamba limewekwa kimya, licha kwamba kuna harakati kadha wa kadha zinaendelea kuweza kuliweka wazi ili liweze kukanushwa na kuondolewa ndani ya jamii. Na kukaribisha katika kipindi chetu cha leo Chungu cha Stara, ikiwa tunaangalia madhara sugu ya ukeketaji. Naitwa Rahma Swale, lakini kabla sijaungana na wageni wangu kuweza kufanikisha mada hii ya leo, tupate mawili matatu kutoka kwa wakazi alafu turudi. Usiondoke.
Iwapo kwamba ile mila inataka kudumishwa, kwa nini tusije na mbinu ambazo mtu atakeketwa kwa njia ambayo hatodhurika? Kwa sababu kwa sasa kiteknolojia tumefika mbali sana, ulimwengu mzima kwa jumla. Na iwapo kwa mkono mwingine kwamba wale ambao wanasema kwamba wasikeketwe, okay, tunachukulia kwamba labda ni mila ambayo imepitwa na wakati.
In fact, it brings a lot of damage to the girl child, so that is why I don't support it.
Karibu tena mtazamaji. Kulingana na utafiti ni kwamba 75% nchini Misri, 50% nchini Sudan na vile vile 40% nchini Kenya ni idadi ambayo inatolewa kwa wanawake wanaokeketwa ama wanaopitia FGM. Ndio hali ilivyo mtazamaji, na tunarudia hili swala ikiwa nipo nao tena timu ya nguvu hapa, na naarifiwa kwamba wamekuwa katika nyanja mbalimbali za kuweza kuliweka wazi hili swala la ukeketaji, ikiwa mada yenyewe tunaangalia madhara sugu ya ukeketaji. Ndani ya studio kama nilivyokuahidi mtazamaji, nipo na wageni wangu waweze kufanikisha hili, tuweze kujua kwa upande wa kijamii, upande wa kiafya na vile vile upande wa kisheria linatuathiri kwa namna gani. Ndani ya studio nipo naye Sheikh Ibrahim Lidhome, karibu sana ndani ya studio zetu kwa mara nyingine.
Asante.
Vile vile nipo naye Profesa Daktari Jaldesa Guyo ambaye yeye ni daktari wa wanawake, kwa ufahamu wengi a gynecologist. Karibu sana ndani ya studio zetu. Na naye dadangu ambaye ni Mariam Abdi Sheikh, yeye ni mwathiriwa na vile vile mtetezi wa FGM. Karibu sana ndani ya studio zetu.
Asante.
Hali ni kama hiyo. Idadi sasa hivi kutokana na statistics zilizofanywa na masala ambayo yanatizama ama yanapiga tochi swala zima hili la ukeketaji ni kwamba ni idadi kubwa. Tukizungumzia katika hali ilivyo ya ukeketaji, tunaona kwamba sheria kupitia Kenya ama katiba ya Kenya ni kwamba katika mwaka wa 2011 iliweza kuharamisha zoezi hili. Iweje mpaka leo Sheikh Lidhome bado limekita mizizi na bado